Hi everybody, this is Vanessa with Grow Opportunity, and today we're going to talk about love versus attachment. Grow Opportunity supports personal development, and as you know, working on our personal development makes us better physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. So this is something that we have to work on all the time, but it's what brings us true happiness. And today we're going to talk about love versus attachment because this is something that we get confused with all the time. And if you want to find out if what you feel for your partner is true love or you're attached to them, you're codependent maybe, this is a great video for you because we're going to talk about what love is, attachment, and what are the differences in our behavior when we feel one or the other, also how to detach and how to transcend attachment into real love to, of course, bring you the best relationship and the happiness that you're looking for. So let's start with how come we confuse attachment with love. We confuse them because when you have a partner, when you are married or dating somebody, you spend time with a person, you are intimate with a person, there's romanticism, you talk about romance and things like that. There's a lot of thinking about them. There's a lot of things that relationships, they all have in common. And so a lot of times we get confused. We're like, we love this person, but we actually may be feeling attachment. So let's look at some definitions. What is love? There's a lot of definitions about love, of course, but it is the most pure, caring, and affectionate feeling towards yourself or others. It's unconditional. It has a very, very high vibration, and it's a selfless and mindful feeling that is part of your being. Okay, that's love. And attachment is an extension or a thing that is attached to something to perform a certain function. So in relationship talk, attachment will be an extension of your ego. Our ego is who we think we are. Our ego is the person that we have built to be, and that's who we identify with. And when there's a void, when something is missing, when we lack something, we look for external things or people to fill those voids. And that's how attachment forms. In other words, if you are attached to your partner, it is because you think that they are part of you and their function is to make you happy, fill some kind of void. Whether you realize it or not, that's what being attached is. So let's take a look on how attachment starts. I have my computer today. I'm reading my blog. The blog is on growopportunity.org under menu relationship blogs, so you can find the full blog there. And I'm making this video out of the blog. So let's see. How does attachment start? Attachment starts pretty much somewhere in your childhood. Someone, a parent, a teacher, a sibling, friends, someone told you something that programmed in your mind that you're not good enough. For example, they told you you're not smart enough, or you can't do this, or you're not able to learn that, or they compared you to your siblings, they compared you to your friends, somebody's always better. Maybe you were bullied in school. Maybe your big brother or big sister bullied you. Maybe your parents worked a lot and they couldn't spend enough time with you, and so you felt rejected, so you felt like you were not good enough. Maybe your parents were helicopter parents. They protected you too much because they wouldn't let you take risks. So you grew up like with fear and not enough confidence. Also, maybe your parents grew up telling you all the time that there's lack of money, that money is really hard to get, money doesn't grow on trees, that you have to work really hard to make money, and they didn't let you get the toy that you wanted because they were like, no, we can't afford that. Things like that. things that didn't necessarily have to be abusive or traumatic, although of course those things make the case of attachment even higher, even worse. But what I'm saying is that it wasn't necessary for you to grow up in a dysfunctional family for you to feel that there's voids in your life, in your heart, in your mind. Those things happen very easily. A child, everybody says that their brain is like a sponge. So a child will take a comment from you and take it seriously, and they will believe something good or something bad about themselves because they believe you. And I know it's a lot of pressure for parents to raise their kids because pretty much everything you do will affect their adulthood, but it is what it is. When we grow up, it's our responsibility to work on ourselves. So if you grew up in a way that somehow made you feel like you were not good enough on something, we tend to look for external things or people to fill those voids and to make us happy. We don't do it on purpose. It's something that is unconscious. So this is why we have to be aware to correct those things. And this is why you're going to take a look at your relationship with the things we're going to talk about and find out if you are attached or if you feel love. Okay? So now that's how attachment starts. Now, what are the behaviors? Let's compare behaviors between being attached to your partner or loving your partner. If you feel attachment, you will think of that person as yours. I know we always use the words my boyfriend, my wife, my partner. Of course, that's normal. But think about it. To what extent do you believe that that person belongs to you? Do you think they're yours? Do you really think they belong to you? Because controlling is a huge part of behavior for attachment. If you try to control what their diet is, if you try to control how much they're drinking or not, if you try to control how often they should see their friends, if you try to control their haircut, don't cut it too short. I don't like it too short. If you even go higher and try to control their life decisions as far as career, as far as the area where they live, as far as their decisions in the future, and that means you are attached to that person. That means you think that they are yours and that they are yours to control. That brings you a lot of stress if you fail at controlling. Because if you think that they are yours and they should behave in a way that you want, when they don't, can you see how stressful that would be, that you can't control somebody? So, keep in mind, are you controlling? Are you trying to run your partner's life? Because that is not love, that is attachment. Okay, another behavior is attachment wants to take, love wants to give. And what do I mean by this? When you are looking into what you can get from your partner, is attachment. And let me give you examples. If you think that is their job to make you happy, it's attachment. If even people say that, does this person make you happy? They should make you happy. No. That person should be who they are, and you should be who you are, and you can share things together, but you should already be happy. They should already be happy. It's nobody's job to make you happy. Jobs in relationships should be, respecting each other, caring for each other, things like that, if you want to call it a job. But it's not about making you happy. So think about that. And a lot of times it's asking you, what does she do for me? What does he do for me? Or I wrote something else here. Or when you're thinking, he should be doing this, she should not be doing that. Signs of attachment. Love, when you love somebody, you want to give. You care about how you make that person feel. You care about giving because your heart is generous. You're not thinking about what can I get from that person. So that's a huge difference between love and attachment. Also, bookkeeping. When you can say, oh yeah, you know what? I do want to make that person happy all the time. I'm very giving. I do everything for them, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's cool. But are there any underlying intentions behind that? Do you expect to hear something from them? Do you expect to get something back from them? Are you keeping record of how many good deeds you're doing in your relationship and how many good things you do for them? Are you making a list of how many times you cook for them? Are you making a list of the times you have been supportive? Are you making a list of the times that you sacrifice your schedule for them? And then one day you're going to get upset and say, I do this for you, I do this for you, I do this for you, I never hear a thank you. Are you doing things to hear a thank you, to hear I love you, to receive gifts, to get other actions done to yourself again? Like, are you doing things to get something back? Because that is attachment. Love is selfless. Love, when you love somebody, it makes you happy to pamper them. It makes you happy to be supportive. It makes you happy to do something for them. That's what gives you joy, because you love them. You're not keeping track. You're not like mentally writing down, and you're not expecting something in return. So that's a big difference between love and attachment. Another difference is conditions. Conditional love. Conditional love is not love, it's attachment. So it's when you say, I love you as long as you do this. I will love you as long as you don't do that. I will love you if, okay? And what things, for example? I will love you as long as you look the way you look. You don't gain weight as long as you don't change this, as long as you don't change that. Or I will love you if you, I don't know, work in this area and live in this area. But if you ever want to move away, I don't know. That's a condition. I will love you as long as you make me feel good. I will love you as long as you are romantic. The day you stop giving me flowers, I don't know. So all of these things are conditions. And that's just an example that I'm getting in the top of my head right now, because actually that's not on the blog, but you get the idea. So it's all about conditions. That means you are attached. You are not in love, okay? Love is, I love you for who you are. You think a certain way, you believe a certain thing, I love you. You want to live across town, we'll figure it out. You want to work in that place that I hate, but you love it, that's what you love. Go for it. Do whatever you want. Like, I'm here for you. I love you. That's love. It's unconditional. You know, I will love you even if you lose your hair. I will love you even if one day you get a double chin. Like, I love you. So, and that's very hard to do, because especially when couples have been together for so many years and physical body changes, you need to know if you really love that person, if you really love their personality, their thinking, their mindset. So, you know, ask yourself, do you love them or are you attached to them? Is it conditional or is it unconditional? Okay. Now, what is next? How to detach. How to stop feeling attachment towards your partner. Well, very first thing you need to do is take a step back and look at your actions and words towards your partner, right? With everything that we talked about, are you controlling? Are you putting conditions on them? Like, what are the things that you say to this person? Why are you doing your good deeds? Do you really do it with good intentions, or are you doing bookkeeping? So take a step back and look at your intentions. Be very, very aware and very honest with yourself. It's not about making yourself feel guilty and bad and no. It is about correcting the behavior. So don't judge yourself. Just say it. Just say, oh yeah, I do this. I am a little manipulative. I do make him feel guilty when he doesn't do the things that I want him to do. Just be honest. That way you can correct it. Don't waste time feeling guilty. That doesn't serve you. Just, make a list of the things that you want to change. Now, what is the second thing? Ask yourself why. Why do you say those things? Why do you do those things? Ask yourself why, how come, what for. When you have moments alone, once you know and you're aware of your actions, then find out the roots of why you do them. Okay? And then when you find your why, that's when you're going to find the voids. Oh, you know what? Yes, I grew up with low self-esteem because blah, blah, blah. And talking about this, I do want to do a parenthesis for a second. When you choose your partner, the reason why you're attached to them to fill that void is because they have something that you don't, right? So when you grew up with low self-esteem or low self-confidence, let's say that you are shy. Maybe you will be attracted to the loud person. Let's say that you have a hard time making decisions because you're insecure. You may like the bossy person, somebody who likes to order around and somebody who seems very alpha and very secure. If you grew up with your parents not letting you have the toys that you wanted because they said we cannot afford it, maybe you will be attracted to the person who spends so much money and like he's the high spender and no problem, I'll buy anything you want. Maybe you'll want that because you never had that before. So this is when people say opposites attract, because people tend to pick a partner that has something that they don't have. And if you chose your partner that way, watch out, because you might be feeling attachment and not love. Okay? So, okay. Off the parentheses, let's keep going. Once you know the voids, once you know what you lack, once you know what you don't have emotionally, then you work on those things. Then you're like, oh, if you are shy, you get out of the comfort zone and you start making the effort to meet people, to talk to people, to smile more, just throw yourself out there and start breaking the ice and change. If you don't feel confident enough because they told you were not smart, well, then you know what? Sign up for school, go back to school and study something, or learn something new, learn a new language, pick up a hobby, pick up something artsy, develop your brain. What you think that you cannot do, start doing it. Start reading books, go to seminars, get a life coach. Do things that will make you feel your own void instead of looking into somebody else or something else to fill it, because they will never fill it. Somebody cannot complete you. You complete yourself. So once you work on those things, you will start changing. And it doesn't mean you have to break up with your partner to start working on yourself. Especially, what if you're married? Are you going to get a divorce and then start working on your personal development? No. Start working on your personal development now. And you don't need to break up with your partner. You don't need to get a divorce. You don't need to do any of that. You can start working on yourself now. And if anything, if your partner is an open-minded person, you can be more open with them and you can be a little bit vulnerable and tell them, I think that this is where my attitude is coming from. I think I'm starting to discover myself and I think that this is what's happening, and maybe include them in what is going on with you. And maybe you can grow as a couple and you can be stronger. Maybe that will be inviting for the other person to open up as well and say, I understand you. I also went through A, B, and C. And you know, it can create a wonderful relationship. Once you start changing, this is when we are talking about transcending attachment into love, which is the last part of the video. Once you start changing and becoming more secure, your self-value is raising, your self-confidence, and you're becoming a more complete person, you will be able to offer that person, the other person, a much better relationship, right? And again, if you open up with them and you guys have very good communication, you can grow as a couple and you can be strong, and you will get that loving, caring, and unconditional relationship that you wanted in the first place. You will find the happiness that you were looking for all along and you just didn't know how. And that is by working on yourself, okay? Now, there is another outcome that can happen after you work on yourself and you fill those voids by yourself and for yourself. A lot of times, you may choose to break up with the other person and you may choose to end the relationship. Why? Because since you don't need that person anymore to fill those voids, you may start actually looking at them for who they are and finding that you don't have things in common, or you don't share the same values, or you don't have the same future goals. That person that you were trying to control, move this way, don't work over there, do this, do that, do that. You start realizing that you cannot change them and that it's not fair to ask them to change. And then so maybe you realize that they're not for you and you may choose to let them go to find somebody else that is for you. So not always realizing that you feel attached to a person makes you stay in the same relationship. A lot of times it means that it will break up, but for the good of that person and for the good of you. And you will be able to feel true love for them, unconditional love, and send them to their path of happiness and finding somebody who is good for them, and you will be happy for them because you don't feel that attachment. Mine, no, you cannot, like, you can't go. You won't feel that way anymore because internally you will be somebody else. So you will be happy to open the space to go and find somebody who will be your match. The important thing is that whether it's a relationship with the same partner or with a new partner, the important thing is that you will start a relationship out of love, out of you are who you are, I am who I am, and we just choose to be together. And it's going to be fair, it's going to be unconditional, it's going to be caring, and it's going to be happy. Again, whether it's with the same person or with somebody new. But once you have worked on yourself and once you realize who you really are and you work towards being better, you will be able to offer someone a better relationship and love. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you like this video. Please go to growopportunity.org for the full blog and follow me on Instagram, vanessa.growopportunity, growopportunity on Facebook. And here, please like, share, and comment below so I can make more videos like this. Oh, and Growopportunity en Español coming soon. Thank you. Take care.